Ooh, Sensei here, back with another video. First of all, thank you for 400,000 subscribers. Okay, let's get right into it. So recently this happened.
Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care.
Boy, JJ was hyped. He called out the Paul brothers, rightfully so. I don't know who wouldn't call them out. I can think of maybe a few reasons why someone would want to call them out.
I like the idea that he's getting beat up by an old guy.
That's the problem. That's embarrassing, yo.
You know, I'll make him my boy.
But there are a few things that really hit my nerve in terms of their response, obviously. Here's a few clips from Jake's response, which you've already probably seen.
All right, KFC, PSI, KSI. You're a little wimp, but you gotta take the head. You gotta take the head.
I feel like he's probably on the same relevancy level as like Dad, bro. And
I get the trying to be entertaining and all, but it's so obvious when someone is lying or being fake about something. I know all their content is based on acting and based around that, so I mean, I get it, but still. And then here's Logan's response.
Hate how literally the moment I get back into YouTube, just getting sucked right into the drama. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah,
obviously they're acting this way because they got called out. They're obviously not like hyped that they've been called out. So I can see why they're trying to be like standoffish and whatever. They're obviously trying to act like they don't know who JJ is. But there's a couple things I want to go over that I want to get off my chest, but I've been talking to people about. Number one is Logan and the whole Forest thing, and then number two is Logan and Jake's dad. I tweeted this out recently about Logan's dad. So first off, the whole thing with Logan and the suicide forest, obviously we know it's wrong, and the whole thing about the second chance type of thing and people being like, he made a huge mistake, Dr. Phil, you know, he made a mistake. Let's not just gloss over his entire body of work. The one thing that really gets me is that saying that it was just a mistake implies that it was impulsive. It implies that there was just this one lapse of bad judgment. He realized that he messed up and now he's trying to recover. The truth is, when you're recording content like this, and obviously at the production level in which Logan Paul does it, there had to have been a tremendous amount of bad judgment going on. It couldn't have been just one decision. There was many decisions, not just one mistake. There were many mistakes made when it came to releasing this content. Like when you see that there's a body there, then obviously you consult with your team about, we're gonna record this and we're gonna go through with this. Then you go through with it, and then the way they decide to record it, it piles on and gets worse and worse and worse. Then for all the time to go by, for them to go back, talk about it, obviously, they must be in the car, they must be talking about this piece of content and the reaction they're gonna get. There must be discussions about this, and hopefully the people around them, not just who are just like, yeah man, no, it's cool, cool. Then you go back with your production team, and then so people are editing this. So then somebody edits the content together. Then they must decide about the blur. Are they gonna blur out the whole body? Are they gonna blur out just the face? What are they gonna keep in? The humorous parts a little bit, the laughing part, the parts that were really uncomfortable. They obviously decided to keep those things in. Then the final edit, they decide we're gonna go through with this. Then it gets public. The video goes public. Then the decision on the thumbnail. For you to decide to put it in the thumbnail and the title decision. There's so many opportunities to realize I've made a bad judgment just on the very first decision. So there's multitude of things going on where I'm like, I just can't believe it's just bad judgment. It wasn't impulsive. It was thought about. It was pondered about, it was discussed, it was worked on as a project, and then after it was released, when he got the bad feedback, I'm not too sure that if the feedback wasn't the way it was, if he would have taken it down and he would have responded that way. I think that when he got slapped in the wrist by, you know, the community and being like, what the heck, then it was really like, oh man. When it comes to saying you got a second chance, you don't just get a second chance means you go back to do what you were doing. To me, a second chance means you need to help the people that you affected, and not just the YouTube community, but to me it's not enough to what he did, and there's still so many questions that I have personally before I can say, oh yeah, no, it was just a bad lapse in judgment. Honestly, what concerns me the most about someone like Logan and the intensity of his followers, though very inspiring by the way, he's a very good communicator and a very good entertainer. He is so dedicated to being the best entertainer. He said it in his review video, he wants to be the best entertainer in the world. And to be an entertainer, you have to stimulate constantly. There's constant fluctuation in volume and tonality. They're breaking plates, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's just constant stimulation, and that's why it's so engaging. But that's also very addicting. That's why you get such a strong fan base. Now, more power to him, because that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to entertain you. I try to do it in my content to a certain extent as well with my editing and so forth. I cut this up so it's not just one big long edit. But it gets to a point where he's so locked in and so dedicated to just entertaining, and when he sees a dead body of someone who hung themselves, he still tries to engage you and entertain you and stimulate you. And he's so stuck into it that he was able to not just make that one decision, but the edit and the thumbnail, like all those things that I said had to go into place. So he's so drowned in that and so dedicated to it. So that's what concerns me with like a young, strong fan base to that extent, because they're just constantly stimulated. It's like someone on drugs. When you are taking drugs, you are being stimulated to the maximum. Your brain is on fire. And that's the only concern that I have, is that it's so stimulating that you're gonna desensitize people to things like people dying and dead bodies. Then, oh, the dad. Look at this response.
Yo, folks, what's happening? GP coming at you. is the haters think they're having an effect on us. And if the haters knew how much love was out there and how much support was out there, they'd shut their freaking mouth. We all make mistakes. Dr. Phil even said, hey, Logan's a good kid. He's made a mistake. He's 22 years old.
That kills me on so many levels. The fact that he's trying to be stimulating and engaging in a response to what his son did just makes complete sense why his son is desensitized. The fact that the dad is still trying to, do an intro and come on guys, trying to rally the troops type of thing, and it's okay, even Dr. Phil said it just makes sense why Logan and Jake act like this. So when JJ had tweeted this to Jake, I had responded with this. Now obviously I'm only a mere YouTuber with 400,000 subscribers, and obviously I'm a fighter. It does seem kind of unfair for me to try to take on somebody who has no experience in fighting whatsoever. There's a YouTuber out there or a really big fan of Jake or Logan and want to defend them, or maybe they want to. I will commit to a boxing match with one arm. But to me that seems pretty reasonable. If I tape my right arm to my body and I can only use my left, that seems like a pretty reasonable handicap. So if I can't get anyone to fight me with one hand, then I guess I'll have to settle to just training him, which I would love for that opportunity to do. What a step up from last event. If he takes on Jake or Logan, I can't wait to crack the book on those guys. But I would love to be in the undercard. Bradley Martin said he was down to fight JJ, and I thought, hey, maybe I could fight Bradley because he's literally a monster. And I met him one time and I thought I heard that he had some experience in fighting. I'm not sure if it was Taekwondo or karate or MMA or boxing, what that was. I got some more training footage of me and KSI because there are some things specifically that we went over that I really believed helped him for his fight, which I think would be cool for you guys to get that behind the scenes look. So I appreciate the love, guys. You'll see me again really soon. Let me know who I should fight on the next undercard. Ooh. Okay, timeout. This just happened.
Term 2, it's an MMA fight. Mixed martial arts.
No headgear.
Boxing, soft. Headgear, soft. This is a real fight.
It's very obvious that them asking for an MMA fight, it's kind of slick by them trying to say, oh, it's a real fight, you know what I mean? A boxing match has, the gloves and then the headgear, let's do a real fight. But he's also trying to be slick because Jake and Logan especially, have wrestled their entire life. I don't think you guys understand. The most important discipline in MMA is wrestling. The majority of champions are wrestlers. Even if you're a good striker, if you don't have good wrestling, you're gonna lose. Even though I'm a striker, the most important aspect I need to train on for myself in order for me to improve is wrestling. When I've had trouble in MMA, it was because of wrestlers. Wrestling should be the foundation of any aspiring MMA fighter. If JJ has been boxing out and through high school as a youth and competed in amateur boxing matches, then that would make sense. You have a really experienced boxer as an amateur, and then an amateur high school wrestler who wrestles pretty well. Those two styles make sense. When someone has years of experience in one discipline, and I just realized I saw that Logan actually did amateur boxing before. KSI is not calling out actual boxers, not saying, yo, I'm the best boxer, any other boxer out there that wants it. No, I just got so annoyed because I know that casual fans of fighting and combat don't realize the difference. Look, for example, Overflow. He's a purple belt, a high level purple belt in jiu-jitsu. That means we've been training for over 5 years, 5 to 6, 7 years in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. If some other YouTuber was training kickboxing for only 4 months and decided to do an MMA fight with Overflow, as soon as he gets a single leg or a clinch, it's absolutely over. I just want you to realize how weak it is for them to say, oh, let's do an MMA fight and not do a boxing match because we want to do a real fight. What they're really saying is, I know that I'd have the upper hand in an MMA fight because it's more in my world, even though you've only been in your world for 4 months. And it's clear that Logan did actual amateur boxing. So these guys have boxing experience. I think it'll be awesome to see Jake. So I'm just hoping, please, that Jake or Logan accept it so I can go to work on game planning. I can't wait. Let's make it happen. Oos.